those within the course of a month. First go was the car. I wasn't really worried about it. I still had a job and a place to live. But I invested a lot of my money into fixing the car that really, in the end, wasn't worth it.
Sorry.
Sorry. After that, the next to go was my place to live. I was renting an apartment in a mother-daughter, and the landlord that was owning it was going through a very, very bad divorce. And he informed me that at the end of the week, I was going to have to move out because the place that I was renting from was going to be up for sale. And I was like, well, I still have a job. I'll just go get a hotel room and I'll be fine. Yeah, that didn't really work out because the next week I was informed that I was going to be losing my job because I made too much money there. I was part-time, working a full-time position, and they didn't want to give me the insurance or the money that I deserved. And they let me go. So I spent the next 2 weeks in a hotel trying to just grinding and trying to find a job. And once my money and my funds just dried up, I was forced to live in my car, which was still broken down, but I was lucky enough to have a friend that would let me keep the car in his driveway. He didn't know it at the time, but I was still going back at night to sleep in my car. And it was roughly 20 degrees outside. I couldn't start the car, it was an electrical problem, so there was no heat. I was lucky enough to have blankets and my coat to keep me warm. At the end of that, I ran out of money, I ran out of food. I had to give a call, and I called my mom, because she knew about the homeless shelter here in Pottstown. And lucky enough, Task Force came out, picked me up, and I was able to come to the shelter. I'm not going to lie, I was scared. I was scared of the stereotypes of homeless people. I was scared of not being able to find food, not being able to find anything. A shower, just warm throughout the day, because the shelter closed at 8, and I didn't know what I was going to do. But luckily, the stereotypes that I heard were all wrong. I was taken in by a group of people that I never expected. And they showed me that there's a way to at least keep living, even though you don't have a place to go. So I'm getting a little emotional thinking about it. After that, I kept looking for a job, which was very, very difficult. I wound up leaving the shelter to go to Wilkes-Barre to live with one of my friends from high school. And I had a job. I was an assistant manager at Taco Bell. And the Taco Bell wound up getting shut down. So I lost my job within a month. Right after my training ended, the job was gone. So I went back home that day and told him I lost my job, and he was very okay with it, but there's a lot of domestic issues that I don't want to get into that I couldn't live there anymore. And I wound up coming back to the shelter with 4 days left in the shelter. I had no idea what I was going to do. I was probably going to wind up at chalk or someplace. Luckily, faith kept me going, and I met some very good people that took me in that had faith in me. And luckily, I'm not homeless right now. It's still rough. Finding work is still very hard, and I always try to remind myself that everybody is on the brink of homelessness.
Right.
It's rough. I talked to one of my good friends, well, I consider him a good friend now, and he told me if he lost his job, he misses that check for 2 weeks, he loses his house. And that's something that can happen to anybody. I never expected this. I worked a full-time job, at least one full-time job since I was 17. I never saw this coming. And it's very hard. It's a full-time job to be homeless.
Amen.
It's a very hard rut to get out of. When you don't have a place to shower, it's very hard to get a job. It's hard to keep your clothes clean. It's just something you never think of when you're doing okay. And now that I'm doing quote-unquote okay, I do work at the shelter. Yeah, it's just setting up dinner and staying up all night, making sure people stay safe. But it's just something little that I can do to help people that help me. And I appreciate actually the turnout. I'm actually a little more nervous because I wasn't expecting so many people. Yeah, I just want to thank y'all for showing up. But I know I was supposed to talk for 5 minutes, but I don't think I have the 5 minutes in me.
Oh no, it's been fun.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm happy that we're doing this. It's the beginning of a great thing. I know the college was starting up Homeless Awareness Week, and I'm happy that Court took it and turned it into Homeless Awareness Month with TCN. It's a great thing. And once again, I don't have much else to say. So.
You're my hero, Luke.
Thank you guys. Have a great day.
Thank you so much. It's very brave to share your story. Something that's very hard to see. We want to thank Lucas again. Our next guest is Scott